This conference will now be recorded.
Hello all, good morning. Welcome back. Fine. So today we are going to discuss about what is subscription, what is VNETs, okay, what is VNET, okay, what is resource group, we'll try to understand. So this is a very important thing in Azure. So in Azure, while working on the environments, so these are the things. Agenda is what is subscription and the creation of how to create subscription. So what is Azure Resource Manager? So overview of Azure Resource Manager, ARM terminology, Azure Resource Manager terminology, resource groups, Azure Networking, Azure VNETs. VNETs means it's a virtual networks like VPC, and subnets creation, Azure networking options, Azure VM creation and connect. Okay, so we'll try to understand all these things. So can you see my screen, everyone? Yes, sir. Yeah. So what is Azure Resource Manager? Okay. So Azure Resource Manager is the deployment and management service for Azure. It provides a management layer that enables you to create, update, and delete resources in your Azure subscription. So Azure Resource Manager is one of the layer. Okay. Next one is overview of Azure Resource Manager. So here, if you want to connect your environment, okay, so Azure portals, use Azure portal, Azure PowerShell, Azure CLI, REST clients. Okay, so Azure PowerShell, Azure CLI, those are SDKs. SDK means it's a software development kits, right? So normally to connect our environments, we use this interfaces. These are the interfaces. Okay. So what is Azure Resource Manager? Azure Resource Manager. So manage your infrastructure through declarative templates rather scripts. Okay. Authentication. So normally to perform any activity. Okay. So through Azure Resource Group, in Azure Resource Group, we can create resources like data store, web apps, okay, machines, virtual machines, service management sector, etc. Right? So through Azure Resource Manager, we can operate this. Right? ARM terminology. So resource, what is resource? So resource is a virtual machine or a virtual network. A resource is a virtual machine or a virtual network. Resource group. So a container that holds resources. So before creating any virtual machine, so we required one resource group. So in that group, we can create resources. Okay. So for which we can use existing resource group, or else we can create new group. Okay. So resource provider. So a service that provides resources like Azure Compute, okay, Azure Web Apps, Azure Storage, like that. So resource template, resource manager template, okay, a JavaScript object notation, a JSON file that defines one or more resources here. Okay. Next one, benefits of Azure Resource Manager. So what are the Resource Manager benefits? So manage your infrastructure through declarative templates rather scripts. Okay, rather using scripts, we can, we can create templates. Okay, using Resource Manager, we can use templates. We can create templates. Next one, resource groups. What is resource group? A resource group can contain resources that are located in different regions, different zones, different regions. Okay. A resource group can be used to scope access control for administrative access. Administrative access. Like a resource group can be used to scope access control for administrative actions. Okay, a resource group can contain resources are located in different regions or different zones. So important point about ARM, Azure Resource Manager. So it's a distributed across regions. Some services are regional, distributed across availability zones as well as regions in locations that have multiple availability zones, not dependent on single logical data center, never taken down for maintenance activities. Okay, so these are the things. Next one, Azure Networking. So connectivity services, application protection services, application delivery services, networking monitoring. So all these things are available in Azure Networking. So connectivity services means connect Azure resource and on-premises resources using any or a combination of these networking services in Azure virtual networks, VNETs, virtual WAN, express route, VPN gateway, okay, Azure DNS, Azure Boston. Okay, so application protection, for application protection we use DDoS protection. DDoS means distributed denial of service. This is one layer. Okay, firewalls we use, network security groups we use, so web application firewalls we use, virtual network endpoints. So these are all security layers to protect customer applications, customer data. We use these layers: DDoS, firewall, network security groups, web application. So network endpoints, we use that. Okay. So and also application delivery services. See here, content delivery network, CDN, Azure front door service, traffic manager, application gateway, load balancers we use in application delivery services. So network monitoring. See here, network watcher, express route monitor, Azure monitor, VNET terminal access point tab we can use for network monitoring. Okay, so next one is, so VNET basic components. For if you want to create a virtual network, so these are the basic components. Okay, so every networking requires some components, right? So even though in AWS also, so when we work on networking, VPC, right? So by the time we use these components, right? So like this, every component required some, every VPC or VNet required some component, right? So first one is IP address. What is IP address? IP address అంటే ఏంటండి?
Will communicate other systems.
Yeah, to communicate other systems, right? So internal and external IPs are available in this IP. So IP means interact IPs to receive data, send data. We use internal IPs. IP is a, what is IP full form? IP full form ఏంటండి? Internet protocol, right? అంతేనండి?
That's internet.
Yeah. So IP is a logical address of your system, right? So unique number will be there for every system. Normally in our network, for example, we are using some 100 servers. Every server will have their unique IP, unique address, right? So to communicate other missions, to share data, right, we require some IP address, right? So every mission will have internal IP and external IP. In cloud servers, normally physical servers will have only one IP, which is network IP. Also we'll have another IP, which is ID RAN, console IP. We don't consider that. So normally whatever IP is there for communication, that we can consider. So in real time, when we use physical missions, we'll have two IP addresses, which are, one is network IP, second one is management IP. Where we use management IP? When we use management IP, ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేస్తామండి management IP? So internal IP means it is a network IP. So normally to communicate other missions, to share the data, we use internal IP. So management IP, when we use management IP means, so for example, if the server is shut down, you are not in the office, you are at somewhere remote location at your home, you want to bring back that server, for which we use management IP. We can connect to management IP and we can start the server. So to manage server, we use management IP. To troubleshoot the server, we use management IP. To communicate, to share the data, we use network IP. Right? Yeah. So internal and external IP addresses are available for cloud servers. Internal IP means internet IPs. To reduce data, send data, we use internal IPs. Sorry, to reduce data, to transfer data, to access your systems, to communicate other missions, to ping other systems, to test communication, we use internal IPs, right? So external IP means to connect outside world. We use external IP. So external IP means public IP, right? To connect outside world, we use external IP. Right? So next one is subnets. What is subnet? Subnet and identity. Subnet is nothing but logical partition of your network. Okay. So why we require subnets? Normally, for example, we have 1,000 servers. Okay. So 1,000 servers are in same subnet, only one subnet. So in which we have 300 servers are development servers, 300 servers are QA servers, and remaining 400 servers are production servers. So all the servers are in same subnet. So what will happen here? From development server, you can communicate production server. From production server, you can communicate testing server. Right? Security we cannot implement. Right? So that is why what we will do in real time, we'll divide into logical divide just. So logical partition of the network, we divide into different parts so that we can easily implement the security, right? So you can divide a network in VPC. That divided partition is nothing but subnet. So VPC means VNETs. Here we'll call it as VNET. Okay. So network interface means gateways. Network interface means gateways. To connect one network, for example, we have some subnet is there. Okay. If you want to connect the subnet, we require some gateway, right? Some interface. So network interface IP also different IP. Okay. So I'll show you in further slides. Coming slides, I'll show you. Network security groups. So for secure your applications, we use different networks here, different layers here. Okay. So we can create security groups, DDoS protection, okay, firewalls, different things. So routing tables. Routing tables means, so these are ranges. We use different ranges. VNet gateway. So virtual network gateway. To connect our VPC or VNet, we use some gateway, right? That is VNet gateway. So understanding virtual networks, see here, these are the two subnets available, public subnet, private subnet. So subnet range is also different here. See here, 10.0.1.0, 10.0.2.0. So two subnets are there here, right? Two different subnets. So when we change the subnet, what will happen? So ID will be different, right? So subnet ID is, network ID is different, not network ID. So subnet ID, this is subnet ID. Okay. So to connect our missions, we use some gateways, subnet gateways. So subnet gateway range also different, right? So if you want to communicate one subnet to one network to other network, we use routers. This is router symbol. Okay, we use routers to connect our different networks. So while entering to the network, virtual networks will have some firewall. So from cloud, if you want to enter into your network, VPC or VNETs, will have some firewall. So in firewall, we can implement the security. Some layers will be there. We can implement the security in firewalls, right? See here, what is Microsoft Azure Virtual Network? So the VNET service enables Azure resources to securely communicate with each other in a virtual network. A virtual network is a logical extension of the Azure cloud dedicated to your subscription. So you can connect virtual networks to either virtual networks or to your on-premises network. For example, this is on-premises setup. Okay. From on-premises setup, if you want to communicate your subnets, your VNets, okay, through some interface, you can connect, right? So here, so traffic filtering also will be available, which is firewall, right? Subnet 1, subnet 2, you can connect through some interface, you can communicate your subnets. You can connect your subnets. From on-premises, if you want to connect cloud servers, you require some interface. Okay, through interface, you can connect our cloud servers. See here, layered architecture and subnets. So this is the on-premises network. This is cloud network, for example. Okay. So from on-premises to cloud, if you want to communicate, some routing should be required. Some routers should be required, right? So this is the routing symbol, router. Router means it is a gateway. So for example, if you want to connect from one network to other network, we require routing, right? So for example, we are using routers, right? In our home, we are using internet routers. So your laptop network is different. Your routing network is different. So once you connect your router, you can open websites, different networks you can connect, right? So router is for two networks. If you want to communicate from one network to other network, we require routing, right? So routing means gateway. See here, this is one subnet. This is another subnet. This is another subnet. So web tier, business tier, data tier, different tiers available here. So normally we can directly connect to the subnets, or else we can use jump box server. Jump box means, so this is one of the server to interact with our subnets. Okay, jump box means one of the server, one of VM. Using jump box also we can connect our servers. So this is the management server. You can say management server to manage your networks. Right? So let us go and create one VNET. VNET is VPC, I think. Simple VPC lab. Okay. So let us go and create one VNET.
Sir, what is difference VM and Gymbox? Sir?
So VM means normal VM. Okay. So for example, VM is a one mission, one server. Okay. So Jumpbox also server. But so to connect our environments, for example, so through on-premises system, if you want to connect your subnets, you can directly connect. So, but when you connect through Jumpbox, some high security will be there. Security layer. This is one of the security layer. If you connect through Jumpbox, you can perform secured way. Normally, in real time, we don't connect directly to our production environments. We connect through Jumpbox only. So if any failures happen, only Jumpbox will be affected, right? Our production service will not be affected. Through Jumpbox, we connect our production environments. This is one of the security layer.
Okay, sir.
Right? Yeah. So these are the things. Let us go and create one VNET. Portal.azure.com. Okay. So this is my dashboard. So here I want to create one network, VNET, right? So to create VNETs, we have to go virtual networks. Okay. So you can check, you can click on this, or else you can go to navigation menu, go down here. This is virtual missions. Click on virtual networks. Some VNETs already available here. So I want to remove these VNETs. Open this. Nothing is there here. Delete this. Yes.
Sir, your background noise is
Sorry.
background noise echoes.
Background noise. Yeah. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah. So other classrooms, some classes happening. I open door. That is fine. Now it is fine, right? So first I remove this VPN. Yeah, now it is removed. So open virtual networks. Fine. So now I want to create one VNet, virtual network. Okay. So to create VNet, go to virtual networks, click on create. Okay, see here. First it is asking subscription. Subscription means it is a account. Okay, Azure account. So it can be free tier or else pay as you go. Whatever you want to use, you can use. But don't create pay as you go. So Azure, Microsoft people will charge more. Okay, every month I'm paying the bills. I'm using pay as you go, right? So that is why don't select pay as you go. You can create free tier. Okay, so you can select whatever account you have, subscription. You can select that, and the next one is resource group. Okay, so resource group we can create. So first we have to create one group. Inside of that group, we can create a number of resources, right? So create new resource group name. We can give like this. So this is our resource group. Okay. Now next one is instance details. Instance details means VNet details, virtual network details. We have to give virtual network details. So we can give some details here. Virtual network name we can give. So same name we can give. Virtual network name we can give same name. So we resource group also same. Yeah, we can do like hyphen. Special characters it will not allow. Okay, it is taking VNET 01, for example. I'm giving like this. So region by default it is showing US East 1. US East. US East it is showing by default. You can keep as is. So these four are mandatory fields. Click on next IP address. So here I want to give manual IPs. I don't want to give a default one. I want to give manual IPs. I want to remove this first. So now I want to give IP address. So which is 10.0.0.0/16 I want to give. So this is the range I want to give. Okay, 10.0. One second. /16 is the IP range. So it will support IPv6 also. So I want to add one subnet here. Okay. So this is IP address. This is IP, VPC IP, VNet IP. So I want to create subnet. So only one subnet is required. Two subnets also you can create. Public and private you can create. So I want to create only public subnet. So click on add subnet here. Subnet name we can give subnet 1. IP address of subnet 10.0.1.0/24. 10.0.1.0/24. Okay. So I want to add the subnet. Click on add subnet here. So now subnet is added here. Next one is security. Click on security. See here. Here we have different layers, security layers. Okay. So DDoS protection is there. DDoS protection standard. So normally, most of the time, in real time, we use this second one. Distributed denial of service. We can enable this in real time. And host and host also we can use. Firewalls. We can create firewalls rules also. We can create firewalls also. Okay. So based on the requirement, based on the layers, based on the environments, we use this security layers. Okay. So now we are not selecting anything here. I'm not selecting anything. So click on tags and name. We can give the name like same name we can use here, tag name. Next one is click on review and create. Now we can review. See here subscription, Azure subscription, resource group. This is the resource group, right? VNet name and region, IP address of your network, subnet IP, right? Tags and security. Fine. So next we can create VNet. Click on create. So our VNet is creating now. Virtual network is creating.
Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, in AWS, we have default VPC per each region. Here, how can we create the default VPC?
Default VPC means, yeah, we can use some templates. We can use templates. Okay. Template I haven't selected actually. I gave a range, required range. Template we can use templates.
Okay.
So every platform will have default ranges and customized also we can give customized range also. Default, if you use default, it will take automatically. No need to give ranges. It will take default ranges. Okay. Now it is created. So compare with AWS, Azure and GCP bit slower. It will take some time to configure and create resources. Fine. So our VNET is created. Our virtual network is created. So go back to home. So this is resource group. So go back to home once and click on virtual networks. So this is our virtual network VNET. Okay. So now you click on this, it will show you pin to dashboard, edit tags. Pin to dashboard means this VNET you can directly pin to our dashboard. So if you want to edit tags, you can edit. Okay. So open this VNET. See here. So this is our VNET, right? So now if you click on activity log, see here. So if you perform any activity on your VNET, so it will show you all the logs here. So like operations, whatever you perform in the VNET. If you create any VM in the VNET, it will show you some log here. Okay. So you can check all the logs from here. So if you want to download these logs, activity logs, you can download as CSV format, right? So normally why we require these logs? If anything happened with the VNETs, if any issues happen, if any errors happen, by the time normally directly we'll open the logs and we can check, right? To troubleshoot. So to check logs, we can use this activity log. Activity log option you can use here. Okay, and access control IAM. So identity and access management you can create from here also. Okay, so you can create IAM from here also, right? So next one, tags. If you want to edit the tags, existing tags, if you want to edit, you can edit. Okay, and diagnose and resolve. Diagnose and resolve problems. Okay, so if you want to diagnose any problems with the VNETs, for example, some issue is going on, some slowness issue is going on. For example, VNET is getting slow, it is giving some errors. By the time, so if you want to diagnose, okay, you can go to this tab and you can click on cannot delete Azure VNETs. For example, you are unable to delete that. Okay, you can check here. Okay, and also issues configuring Azure VNETs peering, you can troubleshoot it from here. Okay, cannot connect and form internet. Connect to and form from internet. So we can check from here. And creating and troubleshooting network security groups from here. Okay, so they gave so many options here. Performance issues, for example, performance issues. VNET is giving some performance issue. By the time you can check from here. So latency and bandwidth issues, including slow and failed connections, you can check from here. Okay, and also management issues, updating and managing resources such as VMs or IP addresses, you can check from here. Okay, so connectivity issues, troubleshooting connected to VMs, on-premises device, and the internet, failure to send receive traffic from one network to other networks, you can check from here. Right, so they give different options to check basic troubleshooting. So normally basic troubleshooting we have to troubleshoot. If it is major issue, we have to raise a case with vendor, Microsoft. Okay. How can we raise a case with vendor? This is the new support request. So if you want to raise a case with vendor, so go down here. Here we have support request. You can create a request. You can raise a request. So once you raise the request, Microsoft will receive that request and they will start troubleshooting your issues. They will have some SLA. So within that SLA, they will resolve the issues. Okay. So they will receive the request and they will revert that email. So we started working on this request like that. So they will start resolution. Right. Next one is settings. In settings, we have address spaces, connected devices, subnets, DDoS protection, different things are there. Okay, so you can check subnets here. From here, this is one subnet available. So if you want to create one more subnet, you can create subnet. So this is the IP range. So if you click on subnets, subnet 1, you can check these options. If you want to edit this, you can edit. Even the range also you can modify. If you want to modify this range, you can modify. Okay, if you want to add in the subnet, you can add. Next one, DDoS protection. So we disable this, right? If you want to enable from here, you can enable. Firewalls, no firewalls are available. Security center. Yeah, they are showing some services here, some resources. So DNS, peering, service endpoints, private endpoints, properties. These are all normally we use in licensing version in real time. Okay. So properties, log properties. If you want to check, you can check the details. So whatever you give, like name, your VNet name is the name, location, and resource group, subscription ID, resource ID, resource guide also we have available here. Next one is monitoring. So monitoring also can enable. You can create some metrics here. You can create some rules, monitoring rules. Your VNet monitoring rules. Okay. So if you want to create one rule, you can click on new rule, new alert rule, and you can configure that. So why we require this monitoring? Normally, when we are working on real environments, so if you want to perform any, if you want to check any alerts, if you want to check any issues, normally, so we create some rules here. For example, while working on VNet, so it is giving some issue, or else, so we want to monitor that every 10 minutes we want to monitor. For that, you can create some rules. Next one is metrics. So metrics means, so normally we can create some thresholds, metric thresholds, and different like for example, metrics means it is also one kind of rule. Okay, so when any subnet is full, subnet IPs are full, or else new subnet create, new subnet is corrupted. Okay, we can create some metrics here. So by the time, so when the action happened, by the time we'll get notified through emails. Okay, so next one is diagnostic settings, logs, connection monitor, diagram. These are the things, different monitorings. So next one is automation. Automation also some, yeah, task automation, export template. So task automation ante manaki ikkada add chesko task. So whatever task you want to add, you can add tasks here. Export template. So whatever templates you have, you can export. So connection troubleshoot and new support request. Okay, so you can troubleshoot your connections. For example, if the connectivity is not happening, okay, you can troubleshoot that from here. Okay, now what I will do, so I want to check my VNet is working properly or not. Okay, for which what I will do, I create one VM under this VNet and I'll try to connect that VM. Okay, so now go back to home. So click on virtual missions, create virtual mission. See here, subscription is by default it is selected. Resource group we have to select here. So resource group is, yeah, this is our resource group name. Resource group, virtual mission name VM01. I want to give VM01. So region, US East region, availability options, no infrastructure redundancy. You can keep default one. Image Ubuntu server, right? Size standard DS1 V2. We can use this basic mission. And next one is authentication type. I want to use password only. I don't want to use public key. So username, Azure user1, Azure user1. Password, I want to give custom password. Next one, we can allow SSH port here. Okay, so we can allow this. Click on next disks. Yeah, these are the premium SSD drives. You can keep as is. Click on networking. Here we have to select our custom VNet. See here, by default it is selected. Okay, so this is custom VNet. Yeah, subnet is selected here. So public IP selected here. So NSG network security, by default it is selected basic. Public inbound traffic, allow selected ports. Click on next, management. Monitoring, this is monitoring. So you can disable monitoring. We don't require monitoring. Click on advanced. These are the advanced settings. Normally we don't use in test labs. So generation 1, VM generation 1, generation 2. So by default it is selected generation 1. You can keep as is. Click on tags, you can give tag name. So this is the tag name I give. Next one, click on review and create. You can review your options. See here, for this mission, it is 5,235 INR per month charges. Click on create. Now VM is creating. So inside of our custom VNets, we are creating VM. Yeah, now VM is deploying. Deployment is in progress. Yeah, so it's a bit slow. So resource group ante, so we can group in the resources. So once we create the resource group, inside of that group we can create resources. So you can pin to dashboard, so that what will happen, directly you can open it. While working on the activities, you can directly open that. Still it is created. Yeah, done. So VM is created here. So go back to home, click on virtual machines. This is our virtual machine, right? So click on this. Yeah, these are the details, like so resource group, status, running state, subscription, Ubuntu mission. So networking, this is the subnet, public IP. This is this pen. So now let us try to connect this. Okay. So if we are able to connect or not, we'll check it out. So copy public IP, open putty, paste here. You can directly click on open. No need to select authentication because we are using password and username, right? So click on open. Yes. Username is Azure user1, password. Now we are able to connect. Means our VPN, our VNET is working fine, right? So normally, when you configure VNets, okay. So if you give any different ranges or different configuration, like if you give any errors, if you put any errors, so VNet we cannot connect our mission. So because it will show you network errors, okay. So while working on VNets, okay. So if you give any wrong IP range, it will give network errors, right? Or else if you give different configurations, right? So if you are able to connect, means our VPN is VNet is working fine, right? Our VNet is working fine.
Sir, how to verify the resource groups? Like, whatever we create the resource groups, where will be stored, sir?
Where will be stored resources? I could not understand. Can you come again?
రిసోర్స్ గ్రూప్ క్రియేట్ చేసింది సార్ అవన్నీ ఎక్కడ రిజిస్టర్ ఎక్కడ స్టోర్ అవుతాయి సార్ అవన్నీ
క్లౌడ్ డేటా సెంటర్ లో స్టోర్ అవుతాయండి. సో క్లౌడ్ డేటా సెంటర్స్ లో సో రిసోర్స్ గ్రూప్స్ అన్ని కూడా క్లౌడ్ డేటా సెంటర్ లోనే స్టోర్ అవుతాయి.
బిల్లింగ్ ఏం పడదా సార్?
ఏదండి?
అంటే రిసోర్స్ గ్రూప్స్ కి బిల్లింగ్ ఏం పడదు కదా సార్?
రిసోర్స్ గ్రూప్ కి ఏం పడదండి బిల్లింగ్. ఫర్ రిసోర్స్ గ్రూప్ బిల్లింగ్ విల్ నాట్ బి హ్యాపెన్. ఓకే, ఫర్ రిసోర్సెస్ బిల్ విల్ బి హ్యాపెన్. Resource, whatever resource you create, for that resources bill will be happened. So once you practice that, you have to delete all the resources. Otherwise, so Microsoft will charge within that limitation. If you utilize, it is fine. If it is not, if it is utilized beyond the limits, definitely you'll get the bills. virtual machine is gone. Resource group for multiple VNETs. One VNET to a resource group. Okay. So for each VNET, we can create one resource group. So now I want to delete virtual networks. First open this and delete subnet. You can delete first. So once we delete the subnet, then only we can delete VNETs. Yeah, deleted. So once it is deleted, we have to check here on the dashboard. So we'll find this, right? So if any resources are still available or not, we have to check one by one. So this is VNET. So VNET is deleted. Resource not found, right? So this logs will be available for 1 hour or 30 minutes. It will be available. So we have to check this logs. So not found. Fine. Yeah, see here. These are all the resources available here. So I can select this and you can delete. Public IP address and the network security group and disk. One disk is created, right? So this we have to delete. Otherwise, so bill will be generated. So we have to monitor every time. So if any resources are there, so definitely bill will be generated. And tomorrow we'll work on storage. We'll work on storage, bucket storage and persistent volumes. Okay. So we'll work on storage tomorrow. And Saturday also we'll have session. Saturday mostly we'll try to complete. So if we can take another 15-20 minutes extra and we can complete Saturday. Complete on Saturday. Okay. So Monday onwards we'll work on some general sessions. So general sessions means ticketing tools, right? Stand-up calls and leave management system, timesheets entries. So all these things we will cover in general sessions. Next weekend, coming weekend, not this weekend, next weekend we'll work on projects. Saturday and Sunday, so we'll work on projects. First project will take 2 hours. Second project will take 1.5 hours. Okay, after that, I'll prepare your resume and I'll provide you all the interview questions and all, right? So if you have any queries, we'll have another 1 or 2 sessions. Fine? Yeah, we stop here for today. Thank you all.